The spirituality topic I intended to teach about today is something that Minister Akins actually opened already. You opened the door.
Really?
Yeah, unknowingly, you just opened the door. Almost like I kind of had a little doubt in me that if I decide to do this today, it may cause a lot of conflicts between, in people's beliefs and all of that. I kind of was trying to change the topic, but immediately you asked that question, I knew that the Spirit actually wants me to teach it.
Okay.
So it's like a confirmation that they want me to teach it. And that was why I laughed and said, it's like you already know in spirit that this is what is coming, and boom, you open the door, even though I didn't want to open that door. Okay, my teaching is going to actually be from a video I did like 5 years back, okay, on YouTube. Now, I am glad that this particular topic came in. Almost like whatever I'm going to talk about here is like, I just want people to open up their hearts. Open up your heart, because we learn every day. We learn from each other. It is time we begin to question things that are around us, things that we see every day, things that we read, okay? Almost like the things they want us to know are selected things, but they fail to make us understand where these things are coming from, or the things that they want us to believe in are selected. They fail to make us understand where these beliefs are coming from. Okay, it's like they always start from the middle of it. I would like to, if I explain this, after this, I would like for us to study and read out from the book of Genesis 1, from, chapter 1 from verse 26. That would come later. And then we'll go further to chapter 2. We'll read from verse 4. There is something here that I'm trying to make people see, because it seems like when we are reading this book, we fail to read it and see the truth. We avoid looking at the truth in the eyes, even when the truth is looking at us. We avoid it. And I don't understand why. Because I think that the earlier we begin to look at the truth in the eyes and accept it, the better it is for all of us. I will start with this. We always talk about the things that have happened in the Bible. We try to deliberate on them and focus on the things that are said there. We use it to, go on our daily lives. We try to make it look like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. They said it's coming. Almost like when people are putting fear in their own hearts and using their own fear to deprive themselves from moving forward. That's how it looks like to me. First of all, I'll give a little history about the world itself. Okay? I'm pretty sure that we just didn't start having boats that could move from one place to another. They started by using like canoes, of which you and I know that a canoe cannot go beyond a certain place in the water because of some type of storms and waves that you'd meet on the way. You cannot cross with a canoe, from one country to another. It's impossible. Okay? Back in the days, the type of ships we had, they are not those type of ships that could go so far. We didn't have airplanes. All right? During the time of the Bible, there were no things like airplanes. So it is hard for people to move from one place to another. Even when they had camels, horses, and things like this, there are points at which these camels and horses can reach. Okay, they cannot cross the ocean, for instance. to another country, let's say. If they could do that, probably to an extent, but there are waters, we have like waters and everything, oceans, seas that demarcates maybe one country from another, right? All right. So, and we all know as well that it came to a certain period of time where the white people started to travel to Africa, for instance. It didn't just happen like from the beginning, we started seeing these people. Excuse me. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to drive at a point here that we couldn't go to the other side. They couldn't come to our side, right? In Africa. And as a result, this was like a barrier between us and them. I'm pretty sure that we all know that from the time the white people started traveling to Africa, it was amazing to the Africans to see a white-skinned people, okay? We saw them like ghosts. You understand? They were like people we never thought they were humans, if you look at the history, okay? So now, what am I trying to get at here? I don't know how people from another side who never saw us before they even started understanding that there were people like us, because they described us like as apes, okay? They described us as apes, like we look like apes to them, monkeys. That is because they never thought that there were people like us. They imagined why we were dark and they were white. You understand? That still tells the type of discrimination that we have between the white-skinned people and the blacks today. Okay? Because they see themselves as superior over us, because they never ever thought that they were beings like us. Same with us. We see them like, till today, that's the type of respect that we still give to them. The black people think that the whites are superior because they are white colored. Okay, so now, why do you think that at some point some people will just stand up and say, oh, whatever you people believe in is the wrong thing. We have the right one. You have the wrong one. I mean, what gave them that belief, or I don't know, what gave them that thought in their mind? What gave them that belief that whatever they believed in was superior than ours? And why did we as Black people accepted that whatever we knew was wrong and what they were telling us was right? That's another question to the side. Again, remember, even in the time of the Bible, when they wrote the Bible was written many, many years, okay, after the story itself. You understand what I'm trying to say? So even the time that the Bible was written, let's say some little civilization was already going on. And if you look back, you read it, you still understand that they were still very backward. They didn't have cars. They moved with animals. The ones they could do was move with boats. Okay, so this tells that they didn't know that there were other part of the people. There were other people, like some other people on the other side of the world that they couldn't cross to. You understand? Things that they couldn't cross over were things like the seas and the oceans. All right. So now, to me, when people described their God in a particular vicinity or environment, all right, at that time, they thought that they were the only ones who lived. They never knew that there were other people on the other side. Okay? So when they described their God, they described it as if it is the God of all people, because they thought they were the only ones that existed. I'll take this for example. The king of my place, I come from Benin City in Nigeria. Okay? So back in the days, I'll put it this way, in West Africa, we were one of one of the first people who practiced kinship. All right? We were one of the people who practiced kinship. We started from people who we describe as people who came from the skies. That's how we named them, the Ogisos. They came from the sky. We didn't have any history of them, where they came from. According to the history, they came from the sky. Okay, that's why they gave them the Ogisos. Now, the Ogiso dynasty reigned for like so many years before it ended. And it now started from normal people. Okay? So from those normal people that I'm telling you about, it was true there that, you know, if I want to go deeper into the history, some people who come from Nigeria here may, you know, in a way, because everyone wants to try to make themselves look like, oh no, they were superior. No, you are not the most superior, stuff like that. But we're talking about history here. We're not talking about superiority. We're talking about if we could all come together and agree on the truth, we'll be able to get deeper into the truth as well. Now, let me just put that aside, like going deeper into the dynasty, kinship, and you know, and all of those things. I'm still trying to come at something here. Like the Yorubas from the Ile-Ife, from Nigeria, there is a history that they never cease to forget about. There's a concept that they still keep in place, that Ile-Ife was where the world began. Okay? They say Ile-Ife is where the world began. All right? Now, the Benin of Benin Kingdom in Nigeria as well, where I came from, also said that Benin City is from where the world began. Now, these two tribes have a tie from kind of their forefathers, the Oduduwa. Okay? These two tribes came from the Oduduwa lineage. The Ile-Ife said the world started from Ile-Ife. The Benin said the world started from Benin. Okay, let's say they both said the truth. Now, do you see where the whole concept of the world began here, the world began there, started from? The Benin people are those type of people who think that they are the most superior in all of the tribes. Okay? Because they think that their king, which is the Oba of Benin, is the god on earth. Even till this date that I speak to you, the Benin still keep that concept in place that their king is the god of the earth. It's a representation of God on earth. They say it every time. They don't cease to use that praises to their king. Like Oba Atokbe say, you know, Oba Rima Saloba here. What that means is our king is the God of the whole world. That's what they said. There's a song that is still in place till today in Benin. It's a very old song. Okay, they believe in that song. Edo, Edo, Isiagbon, Edo, Edo, Isiagbon, all those type of things. What does that mean? It says Edo is the beginning, is where humanity began. Okay, it's where civilization started from. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that they never traveled, because in the time of our king Ovorame, who went to exile, that the white people came to the kingdom and destroyed the kingdom, they took all our artifacts away and spread, you know, it's like the same artifacts that they made this movie, this very popular movie that they did in, I think that was in 2018 or so. I've forgotten the name of that movie. One of the artifacts was what
Black Panther. Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah. Our artifact in Benin was the artifact they were talking about in that movie. But many people who don't understand that history will not understand where they were coming from. The artifact was what they were fighting for. And that artifact is from Benin Kingdom. They said it there. Now, you know, the Benin's never traveled outside the world before the time of Ovorame, the Oba Ovorame. When the white people heard about the King Ovorame, they traced him to Africa. Okay, they wanted to come see. They called him a bloodsucker. Every name they wanted to see how powerful he was. Okay, and the Benin had a ceremony that they usually do once in a year. I think at the end of the year, and as such, they don't allow foreigners to come into the land during that festivity. So these white people wanted to come into the town, into Benin, and the Benin people warned that at that time they don't accept visitors in the land. So the white people did not accept. They were trying to push their way in, and that was how the fight started. When the Benin chiefs started fighting the white people, and as a result of the fight, they killed some of the Benin chiefs. Some of the Benin chiefs killed the white people. That was what caused the battle. All right. They were trying to break the rules. They were trying to break our laws in the land. Now, one of the things that really caused the problem was language barrier. The white people didn't understand what the Benin people were telling them, that they couldn't come in. The Beninese didn't understand the language that the white people were speaking back. So there was a language barrier. Okay, they didn't understand themselves. They didn't understand what they were saying. So that caused a fight. Now, I'm trying to get to something here again. You see, these people crossed over to Africa. All right, and we never had to go to where they came from. We don't know anything about their place. They didn't know anything about our place. As a first-time comer, there was a fight. There was an outbreak of a fight because of language barrier, because of lack of understanding. They didn't understand themselves. They saw the white people like, ghosts, people they never, they have never seen in their lives before. They felt threatened, and they started fighting. Now, so imagine when the Benin people would use their king, for instance, as the god of the whole world, because they believe he was a god. Okay? The same thing that happened in things like this in the Bible, where a group of people who so believed in their God, mentioned or, used the concept that their God was the God of the whole world. And they wanted everybody to believe in that God. So this is how the concept of a particular God became the God of humanity. All right? So in a way, it's like a group of people trying to force their God into other people, for other people to believe in their God. And little by little, they started spreading the news out there, even though they didn't know anything beyond their boundaries. Okay? That's what I would call it. They didn't know anything beyond their boundaries. And as such, they used that word, okay, as something to qualify everyone around the world, even though they didn't know other people on the other side. So today, we all carry this load on our heads. We keep moving it. We believed in that story. And I would say again that our people are so gullible, Africans. They are so gullible to the point where it was just a little brainwashing, and it twisted our minds. And we just threw everything we believed in, everything we knew that our forefathers taught us. We just threw everything away and we just started moving. We started following them. You see, I would like for someone to challenge me from this little story I have said, okay? That the God they were talking about in the Bible was meant for a particular group of people. They didn't know anything beyond their boundaries. And as such, they used the word that their God was for everybody on the earth. I'm pretty sure that you guys will agree with me as well, that in the time that that Bible was written, there is, to an extent, that people can travel. And even before the Bible was written was when those history took place. So how did they ever know that there were such people like us? Even when the white people started coming to Africa, the Africans didn't know anything about the white people. They saw them like strange beings. Some of them were worshiping the white people because they thought they were gods, they were angels. You understand? Till this date, they still do the same thing to these people. That's why anything they say, they are superior. So from what I have just explained, I'd like for people to challenge this concept. If I'm wrong or right, let's go. You have a chance to ask questions. You have a chance to give your opinion from what I have said. What I've said is not like I'm looking for people to ask me questions. I'm bringing this like a bone into the field. Let all the dogs come in. Let's start cracking this bone.
Fathers used to keep a lot of secrets. Something will happen, they will not open up into detail about the spirituality of it. So it was making the descendants or the later generation difficult to understand into details why some things are happening the way it is happening. So I'm in Ghana. There is a man in Kintampo, a friend mentioned about him. That is from Burkina Faso. Then he journeyed to Ghana with only a cloth. He just took a cloth and covered himself and vanished and appeared in Ghana. So looking at this, assuming something like that, those, for example, the Nigerians that you described, two tribes, which they said they appeared from the sky. Assuming that person journeyed with that same spirituality, he vanished from a particular area and landed in Nigeria alone and came and settled there. Now, this generation will grow up and then see him to be the only person around that area. Then they will be wondering, how did our great grandfather or our grandfather or our father come into existence? And then that is a secret that he will never reveal to the generation. So I see that it is the secret that our forefathers were not revealing that made it difficult for us to understand where we are coming from.
To support what you just said, for instance, that king from my place, Oba Vorame.
Okay.
Do you know that in the time where they took him, the white people took him and took him to exile. They first took him to Calabar, where they wanted to transport him from there. The history said he died. The African history said he died. Okay? But guess what? The history of America, that they study the history of the Black people as well in America schools. Do you know what the American school history said about this particular story? Because this story I'm telling you is studied in the African American history here in America. The history said he vanished. They said he disappeared. They didn't see him again. They didn't know his whereabouts. And if you want to believe the story, that that story was the truth. When the first son of the king from my place went to Calabar to ask them for the father's body, that it is forbidden for any king from my place to die outside the place. His body has to be taken, just like what Minister Akins was talking about, that the people of that time, they always carry their bones and all of those stuff, okay? The son and the family went, some of the Benin chiefs went to Calabar to ask for the corpse of the king, that they need to take his corpse back to Benin to bury him as a king. The white people did not find the body. They lied that the body has been buried. And then they asked them, where is the body buried? Because it's not done, it's forbidden. You understand? That he will be buried outside Benin. They asked for the position where the body was buried so that they could dig it out and take the body. They could not show them the place. That's to tell you that they didn't even find his body. So the American history of the Black African history was the truth, that he disappeared. He vanished. They didn't see him again. Okay, so now what am I trying to say here? I'm supporting the point that you said. Somebody covered their body and then they disappeared and found themselves somewhere else. This same story you're talking about is a story of the Ile-Ife people as well in the Yoruba land, that the king, the first king of Ile-Ife, who is Oduduwa, actually came from the sky. Okay, the story said he came from the sky. He just dropped from the sky with a chain, and that was how the people found him. Okay, the Benin people from my place, they totally disagree with that history. The Benin people said it was their prince, okay, a son of a king from Benin, who went to Ile-Ife to become the king of Ife. All right, but it's still an argument till this date. But if you want to know the truth, these two tribes came from one ancestor, which is the Oduduwa. So my question is this: do people come from the sky for real? Like, do people just drop from the sky and begin to, you know what I'm saying? At least the Yoruba people accept the fact that that person wasn't from their place and he never spoke their language. Okay? And the Benin said that was their prince. And we cannot fail to really understand the truth that it was a Benin man who found Lagos. You see that now? A Benin man found Lagos, which means that there was really a connection, that somebody moved from Benin to the lands of the Yoruba people and settled there. He found that place. So now let's leave that apart, because it's a lot of argument that still goes on and on till tomorrow when it comes to that matter. They believe, no, it is our king who sent their son, his prince, to Benin to become a king. No, the truth is the Benin people have had kings. They've had 49 kings before the Ile-Ife people had one king. 49 kings existed before the Ile-Ife people had the first king. So that history is still kept in place. Now, what I'm trying to support here is that, yeah, people did have the power back in the days to disappear. They had the power back in the days to disappear. And as such, it's like when humans see the things that have never been done before, okay, when they see someone who does something that has never been done before, we automatically we kind of make them look like gods.
Yes,
we
call it God.
Exactly, we call them gods.
Yes.
The same thing that I think existed back in the days, that this group of people somewhere had something or someone that did something that nobody else ever did. And that's where the concept of the God thing came from, where they thought that that particular being or God that they so believed in has power over the whole world. When they never, it was when the planes came, when we started having planes, we knew other parts of the world. Even ships could not do the job. Okay, so imagine a time when we did not have ships, when we did not have planes, and some people thought that their God, is a God that controls the whole world. I don't understand. So I'll put in the next person. Thank you for your contribution. Let me bring in the next person. The next person, Vanessa Osiris, please come in.
I think our people, like the Black people, the melanated people, I truly think that we are the gods of the earth, not just like one person possessed it.
100% correct.
We do possess certain powers. With the king that you said regarding the Benin tribe from Nigeria, because I know for a fact there are certain people in my country, like in my family, that never died. They just disappeared. They never experienced death. And they said that it's something that they said they go in Africa, like in Africa. That's the way I can translate it. I'm from Haiti. And they said that they go to Africa. Like that's this translation if I were to translate it. And okay, they never die. They grow old, very, very old, like maybe 140, 160. And then until they never die, they gone by a river and they disappeared. They just disappeared. Yeah. And I had 2 person in my family that gone like that. And one that experienced death that I know, which was very close to me, was my grandfather. He died when he was 120 years old. And I heard Dr. Mohammed was talking about some people, they know when they were going to die. He knew when he was going to die. So yeah. So, but for the white people, when they came to Nigeria or to Africa, I don't believe our people did not know that there were not other beings from different part of the world. I think they totally is some type of a different breed. They just, some people might see and witness, but the whole tribe did not witness it. They could see other people that coming from other planet. Because I read other books like I talk about like how the people from the Enki and the Nairubu tribes, they call it, were coming here to enslave us and make us like
do all of this stuff, looking for gold and all of that. Yes, I've studied that as well.
The Bible is trying to narrate the story in a way like to tell people, whoever wrote the Bible, I believe our people wrote it. And the white men, when they got to it, they change everything or do not know the whole story, but so that they could hide behind the scene. So they come and they told us that we were the Babylonian. We never created anything. And actually, in fact, what I'm reading from so many other books that I read from history, we're the one that created everything.
To support what you're saying, I would talk about, there was a video I made a few years back, and I talked about before the Benin king, who is presently on throne, was coronated. I had a vision that I was taken in spirit to the palace of the Benin people, and I saw that the chains of, I think I've posted this video to some few people in the group, and I saw that there was somebody who was brought out from an underground prison. I've never seen such a prison before in the physical, but in the vision, I saw that there was a prison under the ground, like an underground prison, deep down under the ground. This person came out from the underground prison and had chains in his hands and his feet. And he had caught the chains in his hands and his feet. And he was talking in my language that he's back here to take his throne and nobody would sit on his throne. He says he was going to clean up himself and sit back on his throne, that nobody would take his throne from him. And when I saw that, I was looking at him like, who's this person? If you look at his body, he seemed like he's been there for hundreds of years. Okay. So I called my mom and I told my mom, this is what I saw. the spirit took me to the palace of the Oba of Benin, and while I was there, I saw a man come out from an underground prison with chains on his hands and his feet, and he broke the chains, and he was hitting his chest with so much strength that nobody would sit on his throne. He's coming back to sit on his throne. I said, I don't understand what that means. And my mother told me that, it was like in a few weeks' time, they were going to coronate the new king. I knew that the old king was late, and they were trying to arrange the coronation of the new one. And I was kind of confused. So I was waiting for the name to be said, because usually there's a way they play the kind of like an oracle ball that will choose the name of the king. There's a way they do it in a traditional way. Eventually, they mentioned the name of the king and said that was his name. I was like, okay, no problem. They said over February the 2nd. I said, okay. But guess what? I knew that the dream I had was a dream trying to tell me that one of the past kings is coming back again. It's a reincarnation. Okay? Guess what? Since they put the present king on the throne, you see the artifacts that were stolen 200 and something years ago from Benin Kingdom when they burnt down the kingdom. The British people, nobody fought with them. Nobody went to start asking them for the artifacts or doing anything to them. They started bringing the artifacts back. They have brought like 200 and something artifacts since this present king came to the throne. 2 years back, since 2 years back, they've returned so many artifacts, more than 200 artifacts. And the Benin people are celebrating. Now, what am I trying to say here? What I saw in the vision was trying to say that man, that king of Orame, who was taken to exile by the white people, who they, said was dead, and the other history said he disappeared. Okay, that's the spirit that is on the throne right now that I saw. You see, he came back, and he's fighting back for his property, and the British people don't even know how and why they are returning the artifacts back. Something that has spent like 200 and something years in different museums all over Europe. They are gathering it back bit by bit. And a prince of Britain announced that he's bringing some back as well. He's going to gather more from other museums. And he has promised the Benin people that he's bringing these things back. I mean, why are they doing that in this time? This is to tell you that, you see, spirituality, because today's spirituality class, spirituality is real. It's real. It's happening. It has happened before, and it's still happening till date. Okay? When you look at the artifacts that the Benin people made, even before the 200 and something years ago that it was stolen, they've done all these artifacts. Some of them are so old, they probably have reached like 500 years already. The white people were confused. What they were saying is they don't understand how the Beninese made those bronze. Okay? Because that's one of the biggest and greatest job in Benin. We make bronzes. Okay? We use bronze to create all these artifacts. They couldn't understand how we were able to create things like that, not with machines, with our hands. Fire and iron and everything. We will create a sculpture. Till this date, they are still confused. You know what they said? They said no, that they believe that there are some celestial beings that came to Benin to teach us those things, and they went back. That's what they said. They said they don't believe that it was the Benins, the Africans, that created such sculptures. So it's an argument till now that they believe that some people from the celestial world came and teach the Benin people what they know and how they created those. This is the reason why they stole those sculptures. They took it all over their museums. They're using it to make money. It is something they cannot even use their machines to make, even till now. But we used our hands to make those things. So now, just trying to agree with what our sister just said just now, Osiris, Vanessa, that we had such powers. We are actually the gods that they're talking about. If we Africans just can understand how powerful we are and go back to what we know before, you see, these people were afraid of us and what we could do. You guys can remember when they talked about how witches and wizards were being killed, generations back. Who were doing this is not, we've never heard the history of Africans killing witches and wizards, okay? We only heard about the white people killing witches and wizards, okay? There was a time in the British Kingdom, in the European history, where witches and wizards were being killed. Once they find out you're a witch, you are killed. Why was that happening? It was a threat. This was a threat to the people. When they feel like you know more than them and you have the power to do what the physical people cannot do, you are a threat and you'll be killed. Okay? So it's same thing as Africans when they call us black magic. What we know, if they let us put it out there, we will wipe the whole world. Honestly, we will wipe people out of the surface of the earth. So this was one of the reasons that things like that were put in place, that they were killing witches and wizards. What is a witch? What is a wizard? These are people who understand powers, people who understand energy, people who understand vibration, and they can use it to control whatever they want to control and bring it to whatever they want to bring it to. Those are what we call witches and wizards, people who can travel from their body to the astral, okay? They can communicate with another side of the world. They can communicate with celestial beings, even while their body is still there. They take off, their soul takes off, and they go and they do whatever they want to do. They come back again. Those are what we call astral travel. You understand me? These are what witches and wizards are all about, okay? So I feel that some group of people felt threatened by the type of powers that we possess. And in order to suppress that power and kill it so that they can mingle with us. You understand what I'm saying? They can measure up with us, because they can't measure up with us if we have those powers and if they allow us to continue to possess it. If they allow us to continue to demonstrate those powers, they cannot measure up to us. All right? There's a queen from my place as well. It's called Queen Idia. She's the only woman that has ever gone to war in Benin. How did they describe Queen Idia? Queen Idia is the head of the almanac that you notice that even the white people till today, they want to describe Africa. There's this head of the almanac. This almanac, it has a nose, an eye, and it has two like mark in the forehead. That's a queen from Benin Kingdom, from my place. The white people celebrated the Benin almanac in 1978. Okay, that's what they called Fostak. The name is called 1977. They celebrated Festac 1977. It is the head of the Benin Queen that they use. That's the head of the almanac. Okay, that's what the mask describes. They called it Festac 77. That's when they celebrated it. That was the only queen who went to war with all charms. They could not kill her. No bullets penetrated her. She used charms. Those two marks you see in front of the head of the almanac, it represents two cowries. It was two cowries she put in front of her head. She put two on the sides like this. She went to war. Nobody could penetrate her with even arrows or anything. She went to that war, she fought it, she still was alive. She returned back alive. And the history said it, that it was all the charms that she put in her body that made it impossible for bullets or arrows to penetrate her. And she was celebrated. That today, it is her face that they use for the mask that people are celebrating. So let's go to the next person. I would like to bring in another person. I'm just trying to let you guys know that we have a lot of gifts that we should not ignore. So, Rosie A, come in, please.
Hello, my name is Rosie. I'm a Ghanaian.
Yeah, hi, Rosie.
Hello. Yeah,
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to say that when someone has something that you want, and you go to the person and learn from the person, or you go get it by force. Unfortunately, some people get it by force. So the white people came to Africa, and instead of learning from our ancestors, they decided to take the wisdom and everything that we had by force, including our precious minerals. Okay, now to go back to the Bible, I come from a very, very strong Christian family. But from a very early age, I started questioning a lot of things, and many of my family members, even up to now, think black sheep of the family. That's what they think. They say, why are you always this? That, you know? So my very first question that I asked, and I'm still going to talk about, is the Bible was taken to Africa just to trick us and let us follow the white people blindly. Because first of all, look at it. They said God created Adam and Eve. Okay, God created two people, Adam and Eve, and then Adam and Eve gave birth to. Okay, but then when Cain killed when Cain killed Abel, also I think he I don't know what happened. Okay, I don't know.
He ran away. He wandered away.
Okay, yeah, he wandered away, and then he got to a place and he
found a wife.
He met people over there and got married. God created only two people, and they also have two children. How did four become a whole tribe? You know,
exactly.
So, yeah, so I actually asked my dad that several times. He explained to me as much as he could, but I still just said, okay, let me just keep quiet and be a good daughter and just listen to what he was telling me. But you can just say, see, I just saw that now that I know a lot of things, I realized that the tribe or the people they met were actually Black people. They were there before the Bible was taken to Africa, and then the white people just took it there just to forcefully take out what we have, and then bring us down to the level of us thinking that we were nothing, and then we just looked up to them, and then on and on and on. Here we are. Okay, even everyone. I live in Los Angeles right now.
Okay.
Even right now, when you're looking for a job, you're more qualified than a white person. You get there, they
get the job.
Yes, you see. So
sorry.
Yes. So what I want to say now is we should value what we have. We shouldn't let anybody talk us down. Just know that, hey, my ancestors did this, they did this, it's good for them. So we should all strive to learn more, not just about somebody else's culture, but about ours. It will help us in our generation.
Yeah, thank you so much for your contribution. To add to your story that you talked about Cain and Abel, it was also there in the Bible that when Cain killed Abel and he ran away, and when he was running, he said that if anyone sees him, they will kill him. Now, who was Cain talking about? Who are the people he was referring to that would see him and will kill him? If only Cain and Abel were the children of Adam and Eve at that time. So, but then Cain was afraid. It was there in the scripture. He was afraid that if anyone sees him, they will kill him. And then when he left, at some point again in the Bible, they said he got a wife. Cain took a wife and had, I think, 2 daughters or something like that. Now, the question is, who did he take as a wife? Because they didn't mention that he already had a sister. So I wouldn't say he married his sister, because even in the Bible, they never married sisters. They could marry cousins and stuff like that, not sisters. So this is to tell you that this is the reason I said we're going to read Genesis, the book of Genesis, from Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 1 from 26 to the end. And we will go to Genesis chapter 2 and read from chapter 4, from verse 4 as well. You know, we shouldn't deceive ourselves anymore. Because before Adam and Eve were created and placed in the garden, there were other beings already. People were living before Adam and Eve. So I don't know why they would bring a book to just mess our heads up, and people cease to just see the truth in it. And for them to look at the book in the eye and accept whatever they're seeing there, if you want to argue it, or if you are trying to show them to read in between the lines, they look at you like you're blaspheming. I don't understand. That's why I said it's almost like when people are imprisoned, you give them the key and somebody comes and open the gate and say, everybody come out, you are saved, you have your freedom now. Some people will say no, they're already used to being in the prison, they will not let go. So that's how it looks like to me. Okay, this disappearing thing you are telling us about, there's somebody in the class right now with us who said this story about 3 days ago. He said it, he mentioned it, that they were moving in the traffic one day, and there was this pastor from Nigeria, a Yoruba man, who saw that the traffic was just too much, and the conference, or the church conference they were going for, they were late already. And then the pastor asked, "Are you ready?" He just touched him on the shoulder, and the next thing he saw was opening the door for the pastor to go into the conference meeting. He didn't remember anything anymore. That means they vanished out of the car. He didn't know how it happened. But that Yoruba pastor had the power. He touched them on the shoulder and they were gone. Things like that still exist. They still do. It is just that these people have brought their religion to us, their beliefs to us, to suppress us from learning what we are really all about. To suppress us from accepting what we really know. I cry every day that what we know in Africa is gradually fading away. Why? It's because the people who are really aware of these things, who know it, who have learned it from the ancestors, they are taking their gifts away without teaching anybody. There was a time I almost left America to go to Nigeria. There's a small village in my place in Benin. I almost wanted, even till date as I'm talking to you, I still have it in mind to go and meet that old woman before she dies. She's so old. She's already 100 and something, but she has not died yet. She knows how herbs work. She teaches herbs and everything. I plan to go with my camera, with everything that I can use to, be able to save a memory of what this woman knows. Because she's going to die and go with everything she knows. She's going to go with that knowledge, and at the end of the day, nobody would keep it. This is a lady, she would work for you, and so shall it be. So we because of all this religion, we do not want to learn and keep this knowledge. We're allowing these people to die and leave us. We don't know what we are playing with. It's as if our people, we are playing with danger. Because what is coming for what we are letting go, what is coming for us, I don't think we can be able to face it. All in the name of religion, we don't know where they brought it from. We call these people who are supposed to teach us witches, this, that. These people are taking their knowledge, their wisdom, great wisdom, they're taking it away with them. Nobody's saving it. Nobody's writing it down. How do we write history, and how did they write Bible? If nobody's writing what these people know, if nobody's writing it down somewhere and saving it to help the next generation, why are we allowing these people to go away? Why are we allowing these people to die? Why are we allowing them to just leave us without keeping and saving their knowledge? It's a problem. Thank you. Let me bring in another person.
One of the things that I've learned is that we have been lied to.
Very
And
well.
just like you were saying, we are more than we think we are.
Yeah,
It is
absolutely.
now important for us to really find that our true self, because that's the only way we're gonna make it. You see what I mean?
Self-discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Because to finish, I'm just gonna give you a small idea about the stuff that I've learned from my own family. There's I think the first person that I learned from my great-great-grandfather. One of the things that he was some kind of really mystical being in a sense that one day he went somewhere with his cousin and to get something, and the first person they took was him, and the cousin was sitting on a chair, and the curtain moved, the wind moved the curtain, and he saw that they put my great-grandfather on the table, and they cut his head off. And he was so scared that he ran away. His cousin was so scared that he ran away, and when he got home, the first person he saw there was my great-grandfather.
He was back in the house, even though his head
True
was cut
story.
off.
Yeah, true story. And it is something to tell you that we are more than we think we are.
Very well.
We are more than we think we are.
Very well.
And if we are open to really finding the truth and not really let us being duped with those stories, I don't even.
We have been hypnotized as well. To me, it's hypnotism. I'll call it.
Yeah,
because,
exactly. A lot of things are happening. So
yeah, they did something to us. They brainwashed us in a way that we don't want to
it is all
accept what
about
we
power
have anymore.
struggle, like
Yeah,
power and control. Yeah,
it is just a lot.
It
When
is,
I
yeah.
was studying nursing, there was a teacher of mine who said it. She saw it with her eyes.
Mhm.
She said when she works as a head nurse, that there is this black man whom they brought to the hospital, and they were trying to get his blood, to test his blood. And then the nurse tried so much to withdraw blood from this guy. He's a black man. And when they would put in the needle, they would try to draw it. They could not. Nothing was coming out.
Yeah.
They did and did and did, to the point where the nurse now knew that there's something that this guy is doing. And he told the man, said, "Mister, you have to stop what you're doing. You have to stop what you're doing. Stop playing with us. We need to draw blood from you." And then he said the guy laughed and took off the ring from his finger and gave the nurse back, almost like he went there to test them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went there to test them, to see what, let's see what your technology can do. They said he removed the ring from his finger while laughing and gave the nurse back his arm. And behold, the nurse did it again and drew blood from him. So the nurse was now looking at him like, "Oh, so it is the ring on your finger that is stopping the blood from coming out." He just went there to test them, to make them understand that they know nothing. I'll see how you're going to draw my blood, just with a ring on his finger. He gave them his arm. They kept drawing blood. They could not, until he removed the ring from his finger. So people want to tell me that, what are we talking about, miracles in the Bible? These are what we call miracles. Or is there anything more than this? Let me bring in another person. Sorry.
No problem.
Now, Mr. Akins, please come in.
Yes, now I can come in. Mr. Walkie, thank you. You see, I want to,
You're welcome.
I would like us to understand, you see, what we call power, Power has always been in the realms of the earth.
It's neutral.
Power has always been in the realm of the earth.
Yeah.
You see, to vanish is something simple. It's simple.
At least we never heard a lot of it on the Bible that people were vanishing, but Africans do vanish.
It's simple to vanish. That is why I tell people, don't read the Bible and forget about yourself.
That's it.
Never read the Bible and forget about yourself. The moment you begin to forget about yourself, there is nothing. See, you cannot exercise power. For example, let's take it, I'm in my room now. Where I'm staying currently now, armed robbers came to attack me. When they enter, I said to them, I say, if they are able to take one thing out of my room, I'll follow them. They said,
Who's that?
I'm Robert. I'm Robert.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I said, I was lying down when they came. I said, look, if you're able to take one thing out of this place, I'll follow you. They said, what? I said, yes. I said, if they're able to pick one thing and go away with it, if they're able to pass through my door and go, I'll follow them. See, when you discover yourself,
that's it.
When you discover yourself, power has always been available for us.
It is.
My grandfather never experienced death that they lay his corpse there for people to come around him. When he was ready to go, he called. He said, I'll go. He made them prepare pepper soup with a sheep, a ram for him. Then he spoke to everybody. Those of us who were his grandchildren, he laid his hands on us. And then the next morning, they enter into his room and he was not there. He was not there. Where I come from, there is a stool that if there is a war, we just bring that stool out, pour libation, the stool will walk and go. Once the stool is there, the stool will now be speaking to somebody in the house and be showing us that the people, this number of people are coming through this direction. So you can go this way, you go this way. And that is how come we are able to fight our battles.
You see what we're talking about here?
Let me tell you, every pastor or a prophet, what is actually using them, they don't know.
They don't know.
What is
you
actually
just made the point here.
What is actually using them is their ancestors.
That's it.
And they don't know.
I believe that.
Any pastor that deals with spirituality, it's your ancestors that are using you.
Thank you.
Because
I myself have experienced this before, that I finally just knew that what most of the religious people call Holy Spirit, they are talking about the ancestors because they're not asking questions.
Yes.
Who is talking or who is, I don't know how to put it. So go ahead.
Because the ancestors have discovered that this new trend of a religion, so long as you are into it, we will capitalize on that.
No problem. I'll continue to use you.
Yes. That is what is happening. There is no pastor who can just come out, or a prophet who will come out and say, I've seen the devil before.
No. Neither have they seen God
before.
Neither have they even seen the Holy Spirit.
Yes, but they have seen their great-grandfathers, their fathers before. Are you getting that? For example, as an African man that I am, if my God, see, power is available.
It is, I believe you.
Power is available. You see, for example, in the class here now, you see, people, there are some of us that our minds are beginning to play some things left and right. But I want to tell you this, power is real. Power is real. You see, even ordinary alligator pepper, it can enter your stomach. That if somebody wish you bad and a single of it fall in your stomach, that person will sleep and never wake up. Power is available. Now, come to think of this, you see, there is something that I think most of us Africans are not identifying. I don't know whether it's because we've been deceived so much that even the truth, we battle with it. Okay. For example, when it comes into the church, the church fraternity, there is so much that is going on. Let me tell you, 85% or 95% of men of God, they don't have any power available. I can tell you, if I say Jesus, nothing happens because there's somebody called Jesus. But
so wait, you have noticed that also as well. You have this thing you said now.
Yes, but if I call on the Christ,
now you
will see the difference. What you said in the class, I was the one who experienced that with a prophet in Lagos.
I didn't want to mention this. I didn't know if you wanted to be mentioned.
I served a prophet in Lagos for 5 years, Prophet Afolabi, but now he's late. We were going for a meeting, and then there was huge traffic in Lagos. And then he called me Ghana man. He said, Ghana man, are you ready? I said, I am ready. He said, don't let me go and leave you. I said, I am ready. He just puts his hand on my shoulders and then on the shoulders of the driver. The next thing I saw was I was opening his door for him so that we go and minister. Okay.
Did you guys hear that?
Okay. The next thing I saw that I was opening his door.
Yes, we heard it.
Okay.
And then, when we came back, it was when he told me that Nigeria is not for me. I should come back to Ghana. Because what happened, if it's not what is on my life, if it's not because of my ancestors, I wouldn't have come along with him. Since then, that is why I stopped becoming a religious person.
You see, that's a pastor right there. They will not tell you what they use. Sorry, Minister Akins, I want to bring in another person so that
the whole issue is that we are afraid to go to hell.
Yes,
that is all. We know the truth. Yes, we know we possess powers because we know we'll go to hell, we'll be punished, we'll gnash our teeth. So for us not to go to hell, let's embrace what we have been given.
Let me tell you about the heaven you are talking about now. See, I was once in a dream. This one was a dream. You know, sometimes there are dreams that are so lucid to the point where it becomes, you know, it's not a dream anymore. It's like a vision. I saw myself walk into a cathedral, very big cathedral. I just saw myself walk into it. You know how a cathedral is, a cathedral church. I just walked in from the front door. As I got into the cathedral, I saw that lots of people were laying dead. They all wore red, the same color of red. Red. Very red. And I started seeing smoke coming out from different parts of the ground from the cathedral. And I was looking, I said, what happened here? It's as if they just finished fighting a battle. You could tell because there's still smoke coming out from the fires that they used to fight. So people were laying on the ground. The next thing I saw a black woman. Meanwhile, the people I saw on the ground, I can't tell if they were white. I can't remember the skin, the colors anymore. But I noticed that a black woman got up from the midst of all these people. I don't even remember if she got up from them or she walked out from, I don't just know, but I saw her in the midst. She was the only one standing now. She was a black woman with black hair, no short haircut, very low haircut. You understand? Mm-hmm. Black. She walked and came in front of me like this, and I was looking at her eye to eye. What I noticed, she had fire coming out of her eyes. Like, it's not like the fire was coming out like this. But when you look inside her eyes, you will see flame of fire is inside her eyes.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm looking at her like, how come she has fire inside her two eyes? Like, I don't understand. And then she told me, I said, who are you? That was the question I asked. I said, who are you? She said, I am God. That was her answer. She said, I am God. I got confused because, you see, as at this time I was telling you about, I was still into church. There were things that made me start coming out of church. Okay? When I started seeing messages coming from different places that made me understand that, you know what, you guys are being deceived. She said, I am God. And I was confused because the God concept that I knew about at that time was different from what I was looking at right at my face. And I'm looking at her like, then the other mind was saying, she just said she's God. Can you imagine? She said she's God. She was wearing, you see this Shango cloth that our African
people have been wearing. They tie it here.
We the Nigerians, we do Shango. There's a deity called Shango. That's the god of thunder. That's how their clothing look like. A red shirt, a red blouse like this, short blouse, and then from her waist down now had the skirt, the kind of rounded looking skirt, red and red. That was what she was wearing. She was dressed like a Shango priestess. She said she's God. And inside the cathedral, I'm telling you. And then she told me, come. She said, come, let me show you. She took me. I walked with her like this. Now, remember, I came from the front door of the cathedral. She was now taking me to the back door of the cathedral to show me something. She said, come, let me show you. And I walked with her like this. She got to the door. By the time I looked out of the door, I noticed that we were on a very high mountain. Okay. And I was like, I said, I just came in normally into this cathedral. I didn't even notice that this cathedral is on top of a mountain, because from the front it looks normal. From the back, you will now notice that you are on top of a huge mountain. I was scared that I could not even look at what she was showing me. And she stretched her hand like this from the door towards the ground. She was saying, she said, look. As she pointed her hand out, she said, look. She was not pointing down. She said, look, heaven is real. Heaven is real. Heaven is real. The moment she said it the third time, I woke up. I was sweating. Now I'm looking. The first question I asked myself, I said, heaven is real. And her hand is pointed down, and we were up on the mountain.
Up.
What are you talking about?
So where is the heaven?
You get what I'm trying to say? Now there was something, although I was so scared to look towards the ground, what she was saying, because I realized we were on top of a high mountain. that I was scared of height. So what I could figure out in that vision was that the heaven we are talking about is on earth. Thank you so much. Let me bring in the next person because we are really going far. David Zulu, come in, please.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my family. I'm from Zambia. I know we could be the 2 or 3 of us from Zambia, this part of Africa. Yes, there is Esau and the other lady. What I wanted us to share is power is real. I was escorting my mother to get a taxi around 1 o'clock in the night because my sister was pregnant and she was due. So there are a lot of thieves breaking people's houses. So what happened was, I think we couldn't find a taxi. So we decided to go back and knock to our neighbors. Now, on our way back, it was about 200 Ks, 100 Ks from our house. Now, we met robbers. I think there were 12 of them, 12 in number with iron bars, and my mother was threatened. I was a little boy. I just held my mother like this. I said, don't worry, we will pass through. Okay? So, as they were coming, because I was so sure nothing will happen. I don't know the powers that were around. They were coming with iron bars. My mother was dragging her feet. I just held her. They just parted their way. Like the famous Red Sea, we passed through them. That was very unusual. We never spoke. I never spoke to my mother about it. We just reached home and then did our whatever we could. But that was just the first biggest experience that I had where you can relate to say, sometimes ancestors would be around you to protect you. Whatever happened that day, the incidents, it was very odd. There was no way those people could have spared us. And just to leave us the way, it was the tarmac, and then there were tall grass by the sides. They had to walk by the sides, and then the 2 of us I was just 21, and there were these big thieves, 12 of them. They never looked behind. We walked, I looked behind, they went their way. The other incident that I remember to say there's power in Africa. I had a grandmother, he's passed now, I think she's passed. She had these powers. This part of Africa, sometimes we experience drought, but her field, whether there's drought or not, it will be evergreen and she'll have food. What she would do is, whatever seeds that were planted in each and every farm, corn, maize, beans, millet, sorghum, she'll keep a sample of each, okay? When there's drought, she'll just put all those samples of seeds that she has planted. That's my grandmother. Put in the mouth. When she's drinking, it's being watered. When she's drinking water, it's being watered, and she'll have plenty of food while the rest would have. Now, the worst part is when she was about to die, I think she called my elder sister. She wanted to leave this technology with her, but my elder sister refused, and the others. I think that time I was in the other side of the town, but she could not pass. She really wanted, because my elder sister was named after her. She really wanted her to leave this, but my older sister refused. So
can you imagine? She just allowed that
went away with her.
Go away, just like that. This is the problem that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
So now, just the last one. My question is, after growing up into this class spirituality and whatever, my question was, imagine if we got that technology, wouldn't we be feeding the whole Africa and the whole world, even if we have this climate change?
Of course, very well.
Yes.
The same thing you're talking about now. The same thing you're talking about now. Yeah. It happens to the Yoruba group of people called the Ijebu people. The people from Ijebu, they in the Yoruba land. They said back in the days, when other people are going to farm, they go to farm every day. The people of Ijebu don't do that. They said that what they do is their cutlass is already made with charm. They've put charm on their cutlass and all of those things, that they only go to the farm like maybe one time. They just go there, they use charm to plant everything they want to plant. They go and play. And all their crops begin to grow. I don't just know how they say they do it, but they don't work. They don't work like farmers go to farm no. They use charm to plant their crops and they harvest it. That's how it is. So, you see, let's say now somebody who has the power and somebody who does not have the power. You're just wasting all your time and your efforts for nothing, for something that another person would just do with a word like this. And yet they will come tomorrow and say, why won't those type of people who cannot control power be upset? That the same thing that you and they are doing, you have done yours and you have gone home and they are still there. One whole year, they are still working on that thing. Why wouldn't they be upset to start killing people that they think they have powers and they label them as witches and wizards? You understand? Why wouldn't they be upset? So this is the problem we are facing today. Thank you for your contribution. I'll bring in Mark. Mark, please come in.
Yeah, good evening to you all. It's been a while. Afternoon, morning to everyone.
Thank you.
Well, I want to digress a bit. And yes, colonialism came to Africa, did more harm to us. Yes, we all accept that. We all accept that the black man is so powerful. We all accept that. But you see, let's not forget that the white man came to Africa with an intention. And the intention is that civilization, commerce, and Christianity. These were the three cardinal points the white man came to Africa with. The commerce to get our minerals, Christianity to introduce us to some religion, and civilization to let us practice what. Yes, brainwash. Yes, that's the right word, I think. So for me, like if you read a book, Joseph Conrad wrote a book. I think the title is Darkness. And when you read that book, The Heart of Darkness, he says that Africa is really described as a lacking civilization of commerce and religion. That is what he said explicitly in that book. And this is one of the greatest novelists. He's a Ukrainian. So for me, what I want to say today to everyone on this platform is that, you see, the white man has done more harm than good. But let's ask ourselves that today in this 21st century, what are we doing for ourselves to liberate ourselves from this colonialism?
Thank you. That's why we're here.
So I think we are not doing enough. And I think we are not doing enough because I said I want to move a bit. I want to go into politics because don't forget that our leaders are also part of the problem. They are all part of the architecture we are facing now. Because what is taught in our schools? Purely Western colonization is taught in our schools. Do we have our own curriculum that would say, okay, this is the history of Ghana. This is what we as Ghanaians, because I'm a Ghanaian, this is what we want to study in the schools. And this is what our children should study. We don't have it. We have bits and pieces, and that is even distorted. So for me, I don't blame the masses who are finding it very difficult to accept the truth because they are indoctrinated. And change is very difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't just come out of change for one day. It will not work.
No.
So if our leaders should say, okay, we are Africans. And Kwame Nkrumah, one of the first presidents in Africa, said that the black man is capable of managing his own affairs if given the opportunity.
Of course.
This is a person that rubbed shoulders with the highest in the political system during the colonialism days. And he said it to the white man point blank and fought for Ghana's independence. So as other leaders in Africa. Say that till our political leaders also think like the way we are doing on this platform, we will still have the challenges we are facing in Africa. Because we would say one thing, they'll go to the other side of the world because they need money from them. They would also go and see other things there. So at the end of the day, you are fighting a battle, but it is endless because there's a deliberate system that they will continue to colonize us, because immediately we get our independence, they will be in trouble. And that is what they are trying to resist. So till we get those African leaders that would think like us, I don't think our problems will be solved anytime soon. And we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. This is a movement, and we need to have that consciousness there, because the African is very powerful. The spirituality, if you are going to say what some of us encountered from where we come from, we will talk till daybreak. But all I'm trying to say is that in our own way, let's try to bring change. If we bring change, at least change is progressive. It would affect the next person will also affect the next person, and we think we'll achieve. I think we wouldn't just achieve it in a day, but Rome was not built in a day. So I think we'll make progress. So thank you very much.
I appreciate your contribution, Mr. Mark. And to add to that, I want to let you know that this group that we are all in, we are going to learn from each other. We're gone are those days that people will know something and they will take it to their graves. You understand? Haven't you seen movies like the Transformers? The white people are trying to tell you there that they are using powers, that combination of powers to, benefit from whatever they need. They are using combination of powers to achieve purposes, to achieve goals. You understand? When you see the Transformers, for instance, in that movie, when anything is happening like this, you see Spider-Man will change into Spider-Man, Batman will change into Batman, Superman will change, and they come in as a combination of power to achieve one goal. This is what this class is all about. Whatever you know, teach your person. It will come to a point where we are going to start, like in the class of spirituality, we'll start sharing experiences. What do you know? Tell us about what you know and what you have experienced and how you have used that power so that you can teach another person. Because see, you may be hiding what you know and hiding your powers. Your vibration or your energies are being used within that power that you know. If you share that power with another person, you'll be so surprised that that person's vibration and energy is even more than your own. That they will use it to achieve even bigger and greater things than you. You understand what I'm saying? And that when you combine these energies together, you will not believe what you can achieve. It said, divided we fall and together we stand. You understand what I'm saying? Have you seen movies like some American movies that we watch on TV? And you know, some of these movies are talking about some spiritual powers where there's a combination of energy and they're using that force to, do something. You understand what I'm saying? If we all come together and start learning from each other and start trying what we have learned together, because I don't think there's anywhere that we would discuss a thing like this. There's nowhere. Nobody is willing to share what they know. But in this class, we should try to bring this class to that level of, what do you know? You share with us. Today, we want your experience. We want to know what you have done. This is why we call it spirituality class, mystic class. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. Thank everyone so much. And I hope we learned from this topic of spirituality today. I think many of us had a chance to listen. Some of us had a chance to contribute. For those who did not have the chance to even speak out, I believe that you have learned one or two things from what we have